Hey, caregivers, welcome back to another episode of the Caregiving and Entrepreneurship Reimagined podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Miller. And today I think it is so important that we dive into a new topic that I've covered a lot about medical history, but I don't think I've really talked about the importance of documenting your loved one's medical history in real time because your loved one's health just changes on a dime, right? Every day it can change. As someone who cares for someone with epilepsy, my husband's health has just changed all the time. One minute he's fine, one minute he's not. His seizures have been different every single time. There's been some similarities, but I have to say, if there's anything I've learned in my journey, guys, it's that getting in the habit of writing everything down as it happens has really helped our medical team make better informed decisions for my loved one's health because they have all the information about what I've been seeing, what I've been observing, whether the changes have been big or subtle. It's just given them more information because remember, you are the eyes and ears of your loved one. Okay. And so they're going off of what you're telling them. So if you're not writing anything down, there's a chance you could miss some important details that even if they may seem insignificant to you, they might be paramount to your medical professionals in deciding what is best next for your loved one's care plan. And I really want you to understand too that documenting your loved one's medical history doesn't have to be complicated. It's just getting in the habit of writing stuff down as it happens. For example, major health events. So, like anytime your loved one has a new diagnosis, they've had a surgery, they've been hospitalized, whether it was pre-planned or for a medical emergency, an unexpected emergency, write it down. What was the diagnosis? What was the surgery for? Was it related to a current problem? For the hospitalization, same thing. Was it related to something that has been ongoing with your loved one's health, or is it something new? Changes in treatment. Document anything, whether that's medications or therapies. I know my husband's had to have some therapy because for one of or some physical therapy for a while before because of his knee. One of his knees has been bothering him, so that's something else. And whether it's something, even though it's something that's not neurological, I we've had to communicate with his neurologist because, and same thing with his podiatrist too. We've had to do some things there because drug interactions, right? We want to address these multiple issues, but we certainly don't want his seizure meds to not work effectively because of some sort of medication or therapy that he's doing to address, say, his foot or his knee. So just be diligent about documenting anything else you're adding to the current medical issues or treatments that your loved one is undergoing through. Health checkups, and we all know we need to have an annual wellness visit. But sometimes, obviously, with chronic illness, you have those follow up or health wellness that's a little more frequent. I know for a while for my husband, we were seeing his doctor more like every 3 to 6 months because he was just having so many clusters of seizures. And every time at that appointment, I had my medical record with me and I would document what the doctor was saying in terms of any changes he wanted to make with his meds, any possibilities of other treatments he might want us to pursue down the road if X, Y, and Z didn't work, and any other things he wants to do testing wise to see if there was maybe something else being um, that might be going on that we're not addressing. So just write down detailed notes, guys, when you're in your medical appointments, even if they're just wellness visits and they're supposed to be not really anything too eventful happening, still write down what you observe and what you talk about because obviously we can't remember everything. And if you write it down, it's a lot easier to reference it later if you need to refer to that information again, because you will. I guarantee you will. Same thing with specialist visits. Document about what recommendations they say are a good option for your loved one. And also document too if on that appointment, maybe you went ahead and decided, yes, we want to pursue this option and we'll save option 2 and 3 for later. Or maybe you decided, no, we want to think about all three options first for a little bit and then make a choice. And then if you have another appointment with your specialist, then document what you decided then. Again, see, we're creating a story. It gives a timeline about what's going on in real time. We already covered kind of follow-up appointments, lab results, whether that's routine labs or maybe an emergency lab because I know for me with an example could be I have hypothyroidism and I have IBS and I'm vitamin D deficient and iron deficient. And so I frequently have to have labs. If I'm starting to feel kind of a little low energy, getting sick more often, that's a red flag for me that I might need to have my labs done, or probably need to have my labs done to see if I need to increase or decrease my medications to adjust them so I feel better. So so documenting information about labs could be very important too. Same thing again, we've already touched on medications, any changes in medications, including dosage and frequency and the rules of why you give them. Again, I've touched on this before, but I'll say it again. An example with my husband, he's on 4 medications for his seizures. Two are maintenance ones, and then I have two for rescue for if he does have a seizure. And there's different rules for when I give him. One is for if he's out cold, unresponsive, not able to swallow, because his other rescue medication is a tablet versus the one for if he's out cold is a nasal spray. So there's different rules for safety that I have to consider when I'm adamant about when I give either one of those medications. So definitely document that. And also going along with that, medication allergies, okay? Make sure that sometimes it's not just the medication itself. There's certain ingredients that are in several medications or a family of medications. So definitely when you're documenting your loved one's medications, be sure to mention any drug interactions or allergies or ingredient allergies that they have. So that way, medical professionals, be it your primary or specialist doctors, excuse me, or God forbid you have to call 911 or go to urgent care or go to the ER, they're aware. So when they're starting to give medications to stabilize your loved one, they make sure that they're careful not to give something that could pose a problem in terms of an unnecessary reaction. And then symptoms, again, just anything that's new or worsening. Again, sometimes it's very uh, loud, like it's very obvious that something's up, or sometimes it's just subtle. With my husband, as an example, uh, his seizures, sometimes it's full blown, like he just immediately passes out and starts seizing, so I know something's wrong. Other times he just kind of starts feeling off, like he's not making sense when he's trying to talk, have conversation, or he says he just feels off, like he can't describe it. He's able to still communicate with me, but he's not able to tell me um, like really in detail, or like maybe his words are starting to kind of slur. So there's different things. So just document all those because sometimes that can be the warning sign that maybe there is a bigger decline with their health coming with their illness, or maybe it's something new altogether. You never know. Just write it down. And then daily observations. Again, it goes back to, as a former healthcare worker, as a former certified nursing assistant for 15 years, it's amazing. I would there were so many times I could tell you working as a CNA. 1 minute when I would be on a shift, I'd have a patient that was fine, no prior issues the prior 2 shifts before me, and then by the end of the shift they're in like crisis mode and we're having to do a lot of extra care to stabilize them, try to make them comfortable. And so a lot can happen in the span of a day, or even 24 hours. So um, be writing if you see any changes, even if it's something um, in terms of their appetite. Are they eating more? Are they eating less? Are they having more nausea maybe? Or do they feel like they're just tired all the time, even though maybe they slept a full 8 hours overnight? Maybe their mood has changed. Are they more confused? Are they irritable? Are they more anxious, feeling panicky? Those are details that we want to know as caregivers, and your loved one's medical team professionals need to know, because that's going to clue us in. Okay, is this a result of their illness? Is it a result of a drug interaction maybe? Because drug interactions aren't always just rashes or hives or dizziness. There's lots of other symptoms. Obviously, bear in mind, manufacturers will always give like, okay, this is what we've seen in like clinical trials of what one can expect, but everyone's different. So your loved one might just end up having out of the blue type symptom. So be sure to document that because that information not only can help your helps your medical professionals just be clued in about what's going on with your loved one to look for a better option, of course. But that information does get shared with other people, other medical professionals, so on the manufacturer, so that way people know, like, hey, okay, first initial clinical trial, we saw X, Y, and Z with symptoms and side effects, but we've also seen other patients have this symptom as well. Okay. And guys, I know it's a lot. Okay. I know it can feel overwhelming. And when you're especially like, I'm fortunate, obviously, having a background in healthcare for 15 years, and I'm thankful for that. But I can understand how, for those of you who are listening who have never worked in healthcare, and this is, beginning caregiving school for you, this is healthcare 101 for you guys, listening to this podcast, working with me as a client, I get it. It's overwhelming and it is so scary. Okay, I get it. And it's scary, and that's rightly so scary because your loved one, which I know you love and want the best for, it's tough. It's tough to see your loved one go through this. And so I want to help you um, be able to work through this journey with as much information and ease and less stress by just helping you create these systems to be ready and prepared for one managing your loved one's health. And if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling so overwhelmed right now, like you've been toying around and trying to create a system for managing your loved one's medical history, or you haven't started because there's just so much information, I'll do the work for you. Right now, I'm offering $97 calls. They're called my 911 response blueprint calls, and they're only an hour. And so for an hour, basically, we're just going to hop on Google Meets. And basically, I just will ask you questions about your loved one's medical history, and then I will type it all out. I will organize it for you in a Google Doc that you can then um, use on moving forward as your loved one's medical history document to be able to document in real time, because Google Docs is free. It's accessible across all platforms or all devices, you know, Android, Apple, doesn't matter, iPads, laptops, desktops. And this makes it great because then you can also share it. You can share the link. The idea here is I want to make it very easy for your loved one's medical professionals to also have access to this information. So that, so whether it's primary doctor, specialist, home health, hospice, I want you being able to share this information. And then again, for you thinking about how busy you are, we all have our see, I got my phone right here too. All your mobile, being able to document on the go. So being able to take your phone and just open the Google Doc on your phone while you're in a medical appointment and writing out notes. Hello, then you don't have to worry about it, remembering it when you get home. It's fresh. It's already been done as you go. It's documented. And then anybody else that has a copy of the doc of your medical team will have it. And obviously and also just being able to have, I know personally for me, you can print it off. The idea here too is that I want to make it simple where you can print it off as well and have a hard copy on hand if you want, if you, for when to reference, like when you're at a follow-up appointment, or when, if you like paper, if you prefer paper, or like in the big one that I'm thinking of that I want to set you up for success for, sorry, is if you are in a situation where you have to call 911, you can just pull out this printed document and you can just and you can start going through and referencing it for the questions that your loved ones, or excuse me, that the EMTs will be asking about your loved one's medical history right then and there. You don't have to worry about remembering everything because there's a lot, and you're off to the races and getting your loved one the help they need, and getting them stabilized. So I'll have information below in the show notes for you to access more information about those calls. I would love to help you. And I just want you to know that you're not alone, okay? Learning to be a caregiver is no small feat. It isn't. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I want to help you. I want to help you. So definitely reach out, book a call. And as always, if you have any other questions, you know where to find me. Email me, DM me on Instagram. I'm here for you. I want to see you win. And I look forward to seeing you in another episode of the Caregiving and Entrepreneurship Reimagined podcast. Take care, guys.